Hey there, I'm Gemma. Thanks for visiting my channel. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. That is provided you are a supporter of progressive women who work in the sex industry like I do. I work as a full service independent escort in Australia, Victoria, Australia. Here, the work is finally decriminalised, which is amazing, but there is still a long way to go in regards to busting the myths and the stereotypes that exist against women who have multiple sexual partners, whether it's paid or unpaid, it doesn't matter. There's still a huge stigma there against women who embrace their sexuality. So we need to change that. And that's one of my life missions, since I've had a lot of mental health issues over the years, and now my mission's to help create the world, make a world a little bit better for some other people in the future. If this topic does not appeal to you, it's against your religion, you also think a woman with a lot of bed partners has a giant vajayjay with a hole that'll never get filled, or things like that. I mean, you could stay around and get educated if you're open to being educated. Some people are so fixed in their mindset that you can't change what they think about. If that's you, move on, go watch Cars or whatever freaking thing that entertains you, and stay here if you're happy to learn. And I do welcome healthy conversation, and I do welcome curiosity and questions that come from curiosity, which is quite different to ones that are meant to cause harm. Anyway, should you or how do you become an escort? And it's really actually quite simple to potentially become an escort. You don't need much. I have set up different businesses in the past. Sex work was not my first business, and there was a lot less requirements for becoming a full service independent escort. All I needed was a mobile phone. I got a separate mobile phone with a separate phone number, cheap to begin with, some condoms, lube. You really need lube when you're a spicy worker. Maybe some baby wipes, some tissues. If you want, you could put some sexy clothes on, but you don't really even need sexy clothes as an entry point. And then you need to know where to advertise. So once you find out where to advertise, put your ad up there. And if you market yourself competitively, you're going to get bookings pretty quickly and pretty easily. The common misconception, I think, is that sex workers will see anyone and do anything they want for money, and this is far from the case. Even street workers and workers that seem like they're probably not screening clients, we've got pretty subtle ways of screening clients. We get used to the common language used by idiots and they get easier and easier to detect generally. But if you've ever done online dating, you've already had a form of screening process. So online dating, anyone that's done that, it's a mixed bag of everyone, and you kind of screen through guys that you're definitely not going to see. There'll probably be some that's a maybe and some that you'll definitely perhaps meet. Your criteria just changes when you're a spicy worker as opposed to when you're dating. When you're dating, I guess you want to find someone you're physically attracted to and you've got a lot in common with. When you're working in the sex industry, you want a client that's going to be respectful of you and your boundaries, that's going to treat you well, be kind, and that is interested in a service that you can happily offer, and clean. You want them clean, to be able to wash their bits really well, because sometimes guys don't wash well enough, and they're your main criteria. And you want to get along and have a good time. Like, you want to have a good time with these people, but you're not looking for a lifetime commitment with them, so you don't need quite as much of the criteria ticked off as what you would be looking for a date or dating. What service should you offer? Now, there's such a broad range within the sex industry. So many sex workers or different niches may not even have sex with clients. They may never even meet the client. There could be phone operators. There's still a version of, online phone operators or video calls, stripping, dancing, topless waitressing. I wouldn't even know it all. And escorting. I'm going to talk mostly about escorting because that's my knowledge base. I haven't worked in strip clubs or establishments or anything like that. So, have I mentioned I'm perimenopause with ADHD? So I've probably just forgotten what I was up to. I do plan to write out a script, but then I don't want it to seem too crap. So I'm going to try and ramble on a bit. Okay, so you've got your phone, your lube, your condoms. You want some condoms on different sizes: small, regular, large. Doesn't matter how wet and juicy you think you get in your normal life, it's probably going to be different in sex work. It's a different build up for both guy and girl. Like, you're jumping into the action much quicker than you generally would in normal life. So, and you're using condoms which do dry and have friction burn and rub things out. Not really friction burn, but if you're having a lot of sex each day or each week, it takes its toll on your skin. Unfortunately, a body can only handle so much pleasuring of certain. It doesn't matter how good it feels, eventually it's going to kind of get tired. And lube will help things last that bit longer. So I would recommend you go and look up some of the advertising platforms. But before we even get to advertising platforms, you've probably got to check out the laws that exist within your country, because there's still some very big consequences for some women entering the industry, and you want to be familiar with the laws. And if you're working in a place where the work is illegal, you're gonna want to do a bit more of your own research to see how people working within the industry like stay below the radar and navigate working in those laws. I don't want anyone ending up with charges and some of the horrible freaking consequences that can happen from choosing to do consensual sex with someone just because there's a money exchange. It somehow makes a woman worthy of losing her home, her family, her job, her kids, her everything, thrown in jail because she's provided a consensual service, but she's received money for that. Whereas she could have gone and slept with that person for free, exactly the same circumstances, did exactly the same thing with no money exchange, and that would have been perfectly fine. But because she got money for that, it means she's got to go to jail. Does that make any sense? Rants, many rants to go on. So check out the laws. Make sure you're familiar with the laws and the consequences that can happen. And there's different ways, I believe, people in those countries advertise. So you're really going to have to put a lot more research in there. This I'm going to keep talking about where it's legal or decriminalized, and hopefully everyone will come along soon. So then you want to look up some different advertising platforms. There are some that would be more your high end. You're possibly not going to start out at your high end top quality escort unless you've really got the particular youth and looks for you. And I'm not going to say that can't happen, but I can't really speak to that as much, as I've tended to aim a lot of my marketing towards my more middle class, working class kind of guy, because I find those guys are very easy to get along with. They don't care if I've got makeup on or not. They don't expect me to be dressed in lingerie. It's only on for 2 seconds once they walk in the door. And again, the priority within the business is to be safe and to have a good time. And one of the best parts about this industry is meeting people and having sexual encounters with people that you never would in your normal life. And some of those times are freaking amazing, and you're going to have a really, really great time with someone you would not expect it to be. And then you can get some people come in that look pretty good and you think this is going to be hot, and it's not that great. So so we're looking up several different advertising platforms, and you want to refine the search into people in your similar age, ethnicity, and body type, and then you'll get an idea there on what they are charging. So there'll probably be a bit of a scale there. I would aim for probably somewhere in the mid-range when you're starting out, and then depending on supply demand, you can push your rates up then. I don't think anybody should be charging less than $200 per hour, that's for sure, in this day and age in Australia, but that's my opinion. But there's not really an upper limit. You've just got to figure out what price you set that will get you the clientele you need to meet your bills and other requirements. And all body shapes and sizes has a market value. There is a market value, there are desirable. All body shapes, sizes, ethnicities, different looks, different styles have different, all appealing to some guys out there. Not all guys are going to find it attractive. Not all guys want those high class, beautiful as perfect women. A lot just want an average woman that they're going to have a good time with, and someone they can connect with. If they've not got abs or that physique themselves, they don't necessarily want the perfect body type, and what the perfect body type is to them is different for everyone. Okay, so if you happen to be a big, beautiful woman, you just want to be honest with that in your advertising, and then, or small, whatever size you are, you want to be honest with that in your advertising, and you're going to attract clientele, customers that are into that. The ones that aren't really into it, they'll just scroll by and go on to find someone else that is more of a match for them, and that's better for everyone because then you're not wasting your time replying to people that were never going to book you anyway, and you don't have that mental mentals. Advertise, and I do recommend communicating mostly by text. There are people that prefer to talk on the phone. Just be clear in what you do and don't provide, as you'll find if you talk to people on the phone, they are more likely to try and push your boundaries. Set your rate and stick to the rate, and know that you don't have to do anything you don't want to do. While you're checking out those sites, check out what those people are offering as services, and think about which of those things you actually enjoy doing in your normal life. You either enjoy or you don't care if you do. There might be some other things that you would be quite happy to do or give a go if it's a bit extra money involved, and then there'll be things that you not into at all, and that's all perfectly fine, and you're better to stick with providing the services that you actually enjoy or are okay with, as opposed to forcing yourself to do things you don't like just for the money, as that will cause that will take a mental negative hit. Blah. And what else? I think I do need to make notes for this, don't I? Anyway, so I may continue this at some point to see what I've forgotten. So you will have your phone and your little starter kit ready. If you are really tight on money and you don't have sexy lingerie, that's fine. Either use what you've got, or again, don't price yourself too high. Price yourself a little bit more on your mid to lower range while you're starting out, as generally in that price point, they're not so particular on what you're wearing when you turn up. I'm not sure about the higher price points, but I'm sure if they're paying $1,000 an hour, they possibly do want a bit more of a sexy outfit and stuff to go with it. Wherever it's 300 sort of for an hour, like, it's not such a big deal. They're just your everyday guy that's going to be quite happy with an everyday gal. You can get some nice cheap panties, bra kind of set from Kmart or a discount store, and that will work just as well while you're starting. And once you've earned some money, if you want to invest that in sexier laundry and things like that and then push your prices up over time, that is perfectly okay to do. Be prepared. You're probably going to get a lot of inquiries. There's a challenge. Prior to me being a sex worker, I was working in the beauty spa sort of industry, and I used to write a lot of content for websites for that, and so much effort would go into writing beautiful long descriptions on your body scrubs and all those things we would do and how luxurious it is and blah blah blah, quite in depth. For guys in sex work, it's not that way. You've probably got 2 paragraphs, if you're lucky, to be able to get information through to them, even the good guys. So if you're I know some ladies, I've seen some ads, they're really, really long and really, really complex. And whenever I have attempted to do the long and complex ads or descriptions, I barely get any inquiries. If it's too short of information, like "come fuck me, I'm horny," that's going to get you way too many inquiries from the wrong people. So trying to get like a couple of paragraphs there which kind of point out your body type and the service you offer, that will be sexy enough to keep the inquiry juices flowing for them to inquire with you, but not too much to turn them off before they've even booked. It's complex. And that might be all for now. I'm sure I've forgotten some things. I may come back again. I will probably edit this and post this anyway, because why not? Can only get better at making videos the more I make, can't I? And thank you. Please like, subscribe if you've made it this far. Give me some ideas in the comments that I've forgotten about, and I will most likely make a part 2 at some stage, as this channel is still quite young.